raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up.
Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. We are having way too much fun even before we're starting this.
Already. Already.
Before the cameras start rolling, we're officially deciding that this is going to be fun, love, and happiness all this particular episode of this podcast. You would like to know what you're listening to and who I am, right? Of course. So, my name is Waren Vaughn, also known as Y, and this is another amazing episode of Raise It Up, Y, the podcast. We are coming at you the last Thursday of April 2020, and we're giving you a dose of West Coast legendary title. We're calling this episode Balance and Options. Word to Mr. DJ Quick. Well, this episode, as you can see, let me first say, if you're on YouTube, you can see that I have my wonderful baby brother right here with me, Waren Vaughn.
How y'all doing?
He's back. You understand? He was here with us last year in April, and I feel like April's just might be your episodes.
Maybe so.
I mean, when he keeps doing cool stuff.
Yeah, I'll keep coming out for April episodes. No problem at all. I'm gonna always have something new for you, so why not?
This is making me happy. So I got my baby brother. I'm happier than usual, and I'm always happy. So go figure. But not only that, ladies and gents, we are still on a quarantine. So this, my little brother, you guys know his April significance is that his birthday is 5 days before mine. He's April 8th. I'm April 13th. We're taping April 10th, right in the middle. We kind of wanted it to be right here. If this weren't a quarantine situation, we were going to have our party today.
Oh,
at the Glendale
true.
house.
Wow.
Yeah.
This would have been the party. Okay.
Well, this felt like a party today.
We still made it a party.
This was a party.
That's
I feel
sure.
really great.
Yeah.
This has been just a day of, after we've all been in the house. Even Warren's birthday on Wednesday, it was a Waren team themed party. So, ladies and gents, you know, last episode was about mindset. I think with this whole thing that's going on, if you will, we as Vaughns, my little brother's obviously a Vaughn too, we just make the best of everything. I ain't got my nails done. This is why I ain't trying to do her nails. Yikes, you had to dig me. But I did do my hair. Hold up now. Susie, hold up now. Okay, I was waiting for you at the door. No, I'm back. But so YouTube, of course, thank you for your subscribing, for your liking, for your watching, for your viewing, for your energy. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any other Audible platform. Once again, we thank you so much for your time, your energy, and for just being here with us. We truly appreciate you and proud of you for taking time to invest into yourself. You're gonna get enough of me talking about time today, because with this idea of balance and options, the question that we're answering in every episode in 2020, we're really trying to look at self-awareness. The whole idea we're playing on vision and 2020 vision, and what better a place, especially with our platform looking to raise self-awareness, what better place to make sure that you are being seen than in the mirror?
Right.
You in your actual life, right? So the question that we're asking today in every episode this year is going to be answering a question. How do I balance it all? How do I balance it all? And especially with people feeling like there's a lot of free time just because there's a lot of time in the house. How do you balance it? Life, time, your mind, what you're doing with your body and all of your energy. That's what we're going to be addressing today, all right? Looking forward to going and growing with you. And with no further ado, we're going to get into our grounding. All of you know who have been with us before that grounding is a technique done in therapy. I'm a trained therapist that makes sure that you are present right here in the current moment. And with a lot of what's been going on in today's society, I know a lot of people who are physically somewhere and mentally elsewhere. So this is kind of bringing those two spaces, those two places together so that your body and your mind are in the same exact place. So this grounding right here is going to take us into this moment. So I want you to take a moment. Wait, if you're driving, oh, you're not driving. We're quarantined. So, okay, right back at it. Take a moment to be here with me. Hear my voice. Feel your feet. Your feet plant you. Feel them now. And if you don't know how they feel, go ahead and wiggle your toes. And just to make sure you're all the way here, from your toes, go up and touch your nose. And just recognize that you're here. Breathe a breath in. Blow a breath out. Again, do that in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just take a moment to own this here miracle that we call life. That you are breathing, that you are winning just by living this life, by spending this time with my voice right now. You are investing into your betterment. Sit with that. And even feel proud. And let's go up. I also want to make sure that I shout out my spring 2020 counseling class. I never thought I would be engaging with you all via my already existing podcast, but here we are. By the time this episode comes out, you will have literally only Zoomed with me in our Zoom classes. You will have only known me really twice. But this will be a part of your assignments, so good luck. I'm going to give you the most authentic version of me because that's the number one, the only way I know how to be, first off. I keep it sucker free. We'll talk about that a little more, but definitely sucker free all 2020. Word to I love the do more than you knew. You'll learn about that in just a moment. But also any other future class that I happen to utilize this platform for in order to teach. Shouts out to my 1500 Sound Academy students. A lot of you guys already know that I've team taught my physical presence right there in the classroom with you all at 1500 Sound Academy, as well as I've brought some of the Sound Creators series that I teach there right here on this platform. So you all, you got that option. My students from this particular semester, y'all don't really get an option. Waren, you're in school right now. You don't really get an option.
I really don't.
Yeah. Hey, how is it being on that side? Just real quick, this has shit for brains to do with what we're going to end up doing, but I just want to know, just to check in, how is that for you?
It's very interesting. It's one of the last things any of us kind of expected. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? It's like you're going to school full time. The last thing you think is like, you all got to go home and take all your classes online now. Like, that's the last thing that came to my mind. And it's a huge adjustment. It's more difficult than I thought it would have been, only because I didn't realize how used to going to school I was.
Yep.
Like, I kind of counted on my classmates reminding me on certain dates or tests or reminding me of certain things and being able to ask the teacher right there. Like, I learned better. It was more engaging.
Yeah.
But looking at the balance of it all, like our topic of today is just seeing the light in it and seeing how I can take what's been given to me and use it to my advantage. And obviously the freedom of having that time to do your assignments on your own time, as long as you're getting them done before the deadline, is giving you,
that's
some more
kind of
freedom.
cool. Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that there is something like a Zoom that allows you to still be able to log in and feel like you're in a classroom. You see your other classmates there. You can chat. You can ask questions. So at least that's available. Yeah. So as long as you're able to adjust and adapt, that's going to be like the main thing all of us are going to have to do in these times. So no matter what it is, school, work, daily lives, it's adapting and adjusting. So this is a test to see how well you can do that. So as long as you can do that, you'll be all right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just, I love that he gave the student side of it. From the instructor side, first off, my class is a late start class, so I only teach the last 8 weeks of the semester. And it's, I haven't started it yet.
Okay.
But I feel a tinge of anxiety, if I'm being honest.
I can see that.
I'm a huge interaction person, human interaction type of person. Yep. So I'm not right now where I sit, April 10th, I don't love the idea of what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. But I'm also open, realizing that I don't know what tomorrow brings. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it more, just as much as, or less than when I'm in a class physically teaching a teacher-directed course, you know? So I'll see how I feel. I think I feel hopeful. I'm so cerebral. I think I feel hopeful. I feel hopeful.
That's good. That's a good feeling. Because it's something new, right? It's something you haven't done. Have you ever had to teach anything online?
No.
Okay.
I've had options for it, and my answer was fuck no.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not my deal. It's not, I don't know. I'm an extrovert, like 100% tested extrovert, not any part introverted. So this is different. Mm-hmm. And different usually just means, hey, there's opportunity for growth, and there's opportunity for me to find other parts of myself, and even the learning process, the teaching process. I think I'm going to be a doper professor after all of this, a doper motivational speaker, a doper encourager, a doper helper after all of this. So I'm not scared of it, but I definitely am like, my babies though. They're all, anybody I teach is my baby. You guys have heard me say this on this podcast if you've been listening a long time. So, you know, I wanted to get that in because it ties into what's really going on, the actuality of what's really going on. Gotcha. It's also no excuses. Just because it's different, just because I don't like it, it feels this and it wasn't that. Yeah. It don't mean that we're not doing it. It don't mean drop out of everything that you had said you would do and give up. That's not an option. Giving up for me has never been an option. It's not on the table for me. So for everybody, all you learners, all you instructors who, you know, we got a lot of instructors who they're not savvy with technology. They hate this adjustment. And for the ones of you who have actually stepped out of your comfort zones, as I'm going to do in a couple weeks, and tried for the students, even if the class is ass right now, the fact that you tried, kudos to you. You're dope for that. You're really, really dope. And you're showing your students a lesson beyond the classroom, which is even you as the pundit, as the expert in front of the classroom, when met with something that's new and different and you need to learn, you rose to the occasion. So shouts out to all the instructors taking this shit like a champ. Because I don't think that it's necessarily easy, especially, you know, some of these professors and instructors are like 70. Like they're grown, and they don't, their skill set doesn't include technology, so they don't have to necessarily do it. The art teacher who, you know, or the published writer who, this ain't their world, but if they're doing it, more power to you. Today's segments, ladies and gentlemen, are going to include 2 raise 'em ups. That's where I'm giving game. Like I said, this is me also using this as a ploy to teach my students and another way for them to feel connected and see my true, weird, crazy, loving, potty mouth self. Yeah, but at the same time, the class that I'm teaching is collegiate study skills. It deals a lot with mindset, and any counseling class, which it is a counseling class, I feel like none of this works. None of life works if you're not being your true, full, authentic self. So I didn't know what better a place to start having my students engage with me than on my podcast where I'm my most full self. So 2 raise 'em ups. And then we're going to have a nice chunk of time with this guy and this thing.
Ooh.
Oh, what? Oh, wait.
Got some
Oh,
goodies.
shit. This is called Waffle Life, ladies and gentlemen. My little brother is back like he never left. No, from last year. And you'll see why he's back in just a moment, because Waffle Life is something that you're going to have to, well, WaVa is something that you're going to have to get into and become a part of the lifestyle called Waffle Life. So the first Raise 'em Up deals with time management, and we're calling it, How Do I Balance It All? How do I balance it all? We're answering the question for this episode. So students, counseling students, this is the part that I want you to focus in on. If you tune out for the rest of it, don't even trip. But this is the part that I'm going to be discussing in class with you on Zoom. You have options, all right, about where you think you should spend your time. Stephen Covey is an author of a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. People on YouTube, you guys are looking at this now. If you are listening on an audible source like Spotify or Apple Podcast, then just know Stephen is spelled like Stephen with a PH. Stephen Covey, Covey. And the third habit of the 7, I could do a whole semester on this book. Actually, probably I could do a year, but I could do a semester on this book. So I'm going to focus my energies on just the third chapter. The third chapter of this book is called Putting First Things First. It's also the third habit of highly effective people. In time management, ladies and gentlemen, you always want to make sure that the things that you have to do, the things that you really want and desire to do, come first in your day. There's a quotation by a German dude, and I only know he's German because of the pronunciation that we got earlier, Goethe, Goethe, Goethe. All right, thank you, Germany. Things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. Things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things that matter least. The way I remembered this quotation, and the reason I had to break out my book from God knows how many years ago, look, the whole first 26 pages fall out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like that. But I also, when I read a book, ladies and gentlemen, and you know, for the students who are looking, I literally interact with the text. Like I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. You understand?
Highlighting, taking notes.
Highlighting, taking notes, interacting with the text. If there's something, the second somebody says, there are 3 things that make, the first thing I'm doing is looking for what's number 1, where's number 2, where's number 3. And then I start to see if I gel with those topics. I literally, when I interact with the text, I put jokes on the side. If one of it says, you know, if I could, I might ... mail my heart. I just start interacting with the text. That's cool. Yeah, win or no deal. Oh, look, with a singing family. Oh. So I made it pertain to us.
Nice.
I made it pretend like I literally go in and I make the text pertain to me. So for the collegiate study skills, I wanted you guys to know, like, that's another very good way to make sure that things you read stick with you. And if you're not in my class, and if you're just a person in general reading the newspaper, if you're reading anything, it doesn't matter what you're reading, interacting with a book and making sure, that's why on ebooks, they give you the option to be able to highlight, to be able to touch a word or a phrase or paragraph, and then you get to write notes about it. So it doesn't matter if it's a physical book or an ebook. I love the smell of books, bro. So I need to have real books with me or whatever, but they're also not conducive for travel.
Yeah.
So that's why I keep ebooks too. Just depends, balance and options. You got options, ladies and gentlemen. So putting first things first. The way I remembered it is never let that which is second come at the mercy of that which is first. I put into my own words the quotation at the beginning of chapter 3 in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There's a matrix that shows you how time gets broken down. Katie, can you get in on this? So these babies can see this? Man, fuck these first 26 pages. How about that?
Oh, I love that.
The time management matrix is broken down into quadrants for those looking to be scared of a new word like quadrants. It ain't nothing but quad, a prefix for the word four. So it's just 4 boxes of a one big box sort of a thing. This matrix is broken down into what is urgent, what is not urgent, what has to be done right now, and what can wait. Also, it's broken down into what is important and what's not important, what is significant to you, the individual, and then what's not necessarily significant to you, the individual. Make sure you keep that part in mind. So let me tell you, because I teach via hip hop, what I renamed all of these quadrants. Because I think he calls them, I got you, page 151. Look at the girl's memory. He calls he does not name them. He put, okay. Number 1 is crisis. It's urgent and important. Number 2 is preventative. It's important, but it's not urgent for right now. Quadrant 3 is like interruptions or sometimes mail or popular activities. These things are not necessarily important, but they are urgent. They're happening now. You have to react to them now. And then the last is trivial things, time wasting. That's not important and it's not urgent. So let me make sure y'all know what I call these things. Quadrant 1, it's the go hard or go home. Shouts out to E40. Go hard or go home, crisis. This is like, it's really important. It's happening now. It's part of how we feel in, a pandemic state. All of this stuff happens now. We have to make changes. They have to happen now. Is it significant? Yes, it's important because people might have their health at risk. And it happens right now. Lots of changes happening right now. All right, that's crisis. Quadrant 2 is what I like to call reflections eternal, because I'm going to send out shots to my boy High Tech, who now he and I follow each other on Instagram. And I had to tell him, I said, High Tech, you're one of my favorite producers. And he was like, oh, that's what's up. I was like, oh, he spoke. So yes, High Tech, much love. But there's a song on Reflections Eternal where it's called Memories. And Talib, for you guys who don't know, Reflections Eternal is an album I think put out in like 2000 by Talib Kweli, all produced by High Tech, one rapper, one producer for the whole project. Lots of features, really, really, really dope beats and dope content on there. And there's a song called Memories, and Talib Kweli is just going back, literally going back in your mind, going back in some time, like when you used to cut and had to go to the back of the line, look back in your find tracks that make you relax and recline. No cats rap it up. No, now cats rap about packing the 9 when they lacking divine inspiration. Running out of topics of conversation while I drop it in the pocket because rock is my occupation. That dude is killer, bro. But having time to sit back and reflect, being in a planning mode, these things are not urgent. They are very important, all right? Quadrant 3 in the hip hop community, we call it Captain Save a Ho. Captain Save 'em. You out there saving them? Something is urgent. It needs an immediate reaction, but guess what? It's not significant to you. It's when you take it upon yourself to think you are the hero for your whole community, for your whole family, for everybody. And so you have to take on everybody else's problems. That's Quadrant 3. Again, remember where you're spending your time. Start to look at where you're spending your time. Quadrant 4 is the because I got high, because I got high, because I got high. Wrong key, but don't worry about it. But I was going to do all this productive shit, but then I got high. Sort of a thing. I can't even remember who that was by. I forgot.
Afro Man? No.
Afro Man.
It is?
Afro Man,
okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't want to be wrong, but
yeah, it's time wasting, kids. It's not important and it's not urgent. It's literal wasting of time. With a lot of time on your hands, I want all of you to lightweight reflect right now and think, especially in this last month and few weeks since this quarantine stuff has been going on, or just in your regular life, because I don't want to focus on quarantine, because guess what? Real life is going to happen again. The new normal. It won't be normal like how things were before, because I think if we played this game right, all of us are going to come out of whatever this worldwide unifying situation is with something better, something more thoughtful, something more human happening when the new normal occurs. The question is, where are you spending your time? In crisis mode, you procrastinate so that everything is urgent, and then next thing you know, it's important and it has to get done and this and that. Do you do your assignments way ahead of time? Like Quadrant 2? Plan so that you can have time to go out and hang with your friends on Zoom or anywhere else. Go out and hang and do things that you want to do, so that would be a Quadrant 2 because you're planning. Are you a Quadrant 3 where somebody needs something in your community and then you run to go help them, and you know you have some homework due, you know you have tests for which to study, or you know that you were supposed to spend time with your significant other, but you put that person or that thing or that, whatever it is first? That's Quadrant 3. It's important, but it's not necessarily important to you. It's urgent, but not necessarily for you. Are you spending your time in Quadrant 4 where you're wasting your time? The goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to spend as much time in Quadrant 2 as possible. What does Quadrant 2 time look like? That reflections eternal time: planning, relaxing, resting, meditating, meal prepping, scheduling, giving yourself opportunity and time to prioritize for your day, setting intentions for the front of your day, aligning your energies. Any of those things, all of the things that are significant, but they are not necessarily urgent to do. So for this part, especially if you're one of my students for this counseling course, I want you to sit down and write out. You guys will get enough of me saying that. Write out at least a paragraph, or until it feels good to you. I want you to write about where you've seen yourself spending a lot of time. If you're unsure, start logging down what you're doing and prove to yourself where you've been spending your time. Is there a discrepancy between where you think you've been spending your time and where you've actually been spending your time? This state that we have right now is not going to last forever. So what do you plan, Quadrant 2? How do you plan to make something doper, bigger, better for when the new normal occurs? All right? That's Raise 'em Up Part 1. All right? Raise 'em Up Part 2 is a lightweight illustration of Part 1. It's called the Big Rocks story. Okay? So imagine you have this large glass container. I'm talking about, this thing is about as big as your chest, like from your abdomen up to your chest. So it's like a sizable jar. It's a glass jar, so you can see right through it. In your head, I want you to put big rocks. They can be smooth rocks. They can be, I was gonna say crunchy. They can be, I was gonna say rocky rocks. Jesus Lord. I was gonna, jagged, you know, jagged edge. They could be jagged rocks. They could be whatever they are, but they're about the size of your fist. I want you to put these rocks into this glass container, and I'm gonna help you out because it actually comes with a story. This is not just a story I'm asking you guys to do. A science teacher instructed his class to help him do what I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. So the science teacher had in front of his class that big, large glass container. Mm-hmm. And he said, all right, guys, here's what I'm about to do. I'm about to put 3 or 4 big, large rocks into this glass container. And he did it right in front of the students. And he says, is there room for more stuff in here? And the students was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. He said, you're right. So he threw in another segment of dirt all in this particular large glass jug, if you will. Mm-hmm. And he shook it around and he said, all right, is this filled to the brim? And they said, it looks like it's pretty filled. He took out very fine sand. Mm-hmm. it filled up all the cracks where the dirt couldn't reach.
Yeah.
And he did his large glass container. So now if you're looking at the glass container, you can't even see the large rocks no more because all you see is the dirt. And then everywhere you don't see dirt, you see filled in little grains of sand. He says, all right, is it filled? And the students was like, yeah, that's as filled as you're going to get that thing.
Right.
He pours in water. And still it goes in because, of course, the nutrients, it absorbed the water. So here you have this glass container that once was empty, started out with a couple blocks, like some bricks, not bricks, some rocks, big old rocks in there. Then there was dirt that filled and settled over the rocks, filled up as much as you could see. They thought it was full. They went and they put sand in it. They thought that was full, and he put water in. He says, now the container is full. And all the students was like, whoa, that's crazy. He said, so what do you think the moral of this story is right here? They're like, man, you can get anything into there if you want to. Man, you could get all of this stuff. And he says, no. Let's equate all of these things to time. Let's equate all of these things to time. The rocks, the dirt, the sand. What do you think if each of these things were time and this glass container was your day? What do you think about time within a day? They're like, man, if you work, you can just cram all this shit in your day. You can keep cramming stuff in your day. Right. More stuff can fit and more stuff can fit. He was like, Jesus Lord. Okay, how about this? Tell me this. If we hadn't put those big rocks in first, how would they have ever gotten in to the container with the dirt, with the sand, and with the water? Would they have ever fit?
Right.
And the students were like, oh, I don't really see how. The moral of this, and what I want you to know from the beginning of this whole year all the way to the end of the year, 2020, and knowing who you are, ladies and gentlemen, what means a lot to you and what you desire for yourself, those are your big rocks. Every day, you get that big, large glass container. And every day, we have a propensity to fill it up to the brim with stuff. But very rarely do we make sure to put those big rocks in first. Wow. You heard me say it on episode 14, when I wake up, I thank God, and you can thank whoever you pray to, because there's no judgment here. I love and I love light. So whoever you pray to that makes things better, that unifies all of us and wants the better, highest versions of all of us to prosper, that's who I want you to engage with in the front of your day. I want you to acknowledge yourself in the front of your day. I want you to drink coffee. I don't want to push that on people. I just thought about that. I drink coffee. Let me put it. I drink the coffee. Yeah, y'all know I drink. I'm addicted to coffee. So I'm gonna drink the coffee. But also, I write. I dance. I spend time with my sister. I spend time with my dog. I do things that edify my soul and spirit first in the day, because that's the way I walk out of the house. The YN I know I am. And then when I get in front of anybody, I'm giving them the best energy. I'm giving them the YN that everybody is, she's so cool. She's this, she's that. Trust me, when I don't get out of the house with all of those things checked off, all of my big rocks in my day, I don't care if I miss one. If I don't write in the morning, I feel anxiety all throughout the day. Wow. I'm like, I have things that I want to talk about to myself and not to nobody else. It's just mine. It's just me. It's just mine. Right. And I'm an extrovert. So this is not, this is not like if you are a person who, well, you know what, I'm more of a people person, so I'd rather talk to somebody about it. No, you still need some time for yourself. Another thing for Quadrant 3 that I forgot to say is that there's a tendency for people, when you put other people's significance before your own and all their problems, all of their isms, all their things before you, it's starting to embark on what we call codependent. Right. There's a codependency. Like, by yourself, you can't stand up. If I wasn't leaning on you, I wouldn't be able to stand up. That's codependent.
Right.
When two people who are by themselves only 50% of who they are, so that when they lean on each other, that union feels like 100%.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I would rather an interdependence.
Right.
A 100% whole person standing up with a 100% whole person standing up. And when they get together, they barter the parts of them that they decide, that they choose to share with each other. You can be in a relationship and still have your own individual lives. I think that's healthy, actually. But yeah, I wanted to give you that Big Rock story just to illustrate, you know, if you don't get you in your day, it gets really difficult to make sure that you honor yourself and honor your energy throughout the day. One more tidbit. Quadrant 2, which is planning, thinking, meditating. If you've been doing a lot, it's giving yourself that break. It's taking a walk. You know, words with friends, or, you know, unblock me is one that I have. What's that damn, not Sudoku. What's that thing y'all do?
What's the one
Susie?
with the
What's that one with all those bedazzled?
That's like
Bejeweled.
Bejeweled, I think.
Bejeweled.
Is one.
What's the one that you made Zelika addicted to?
2048.
204.
That's
It's
what
just
it's called?
numbers.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
just numbers.
Oh, 2048, whatever. The kids, they tried to get me addicted. I did not allow it. Thank you. You know, Jesus is my Lord and Savior. But I don't need no new vices. But
So funny.
if you've been having a really hard day and not really even just a hard day, if you've been having a nonstop day and you get a moment that you can steal to yourself, words with friends at that point is your reward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's you getting to just, okay, let me just do nothing for a second. Let me do some mindless gaming. Just to, that's a quadrant 2 at that point.
Yeah.
Quadrant 2 with no boundaries. Quadrant 2 done for too long without discipline becomes quadrant 4. That is your time waster.
Right.
When you've been on, you know, you went out, you sold WaVa all day, you've been doing real good, you got some assignments done in your class, some, not all, some,
Right.
and others are due later that night, and you say, man, my brain is just fried, let me just play some Bejeweled real quick.
Real.
6
long.
hours later, yeah, it was
Real long.
your assignment is due at 11:59 and it's 11:50, and he has 2 assignments due, and it's like, what happened, Bejeweled? Damn you! You know, right? So I just want you to know, quadrant 2 and quadrant 4 can be the same behaviors,
Right.
but quadrant 2 done with discipline are quadrant 2 planning, reflections, eternal, meditative stuff. Where if you let it go way too long, then it becomes a time wasting. All right,
Very interesting.
right?
How they can switch quadrants. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like certain activities can switch squares depending on how long you're doing it.
Absolutely.
What you're doing it for. Has the big rocks been placed into your container yet? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's very interesting.
You know what? They because he gives examples in his book, and you guys can Google Stephen Covey's matrix for time for quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4 sort of a thing, and you'll see that some of the activities appear in multiple categories. So it says, let's say, some meetings, some phone calls can be either quadrant 2, 3, or 4 sort of a thing. So or 1. Well, yeah, they could almost go anywhere.
Yeah.
So let me give you an example. I'm gonna tell you something, and you tell me what quadrant you think it's in.
Okay.
Mom calls you. She's telling you that dad is playing music way too loud in the music room at the Glendale house,
Okay.
and she's really frantic, and she needs it to stop now, or she can't go to sleep, or she's gonna go down there and have to really get on him. Is that quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4 of your time?
It sounds like it could be 1 or 3, because depending on how severe it is and how, you know what I mean? I'm thinking about moms, like, well, like, wait, where am I? If she's calling me, then I'm not at the house. I'm either at the kitchen,
Right.
at a market, or
Right.
I'm probably working or doing something school related.
Exactly.
So I got to consider how much energy can I put into this without it taking from what I'm already doing.
Yes.
If I can give her some of my energy and calm her down, then I could keep it in quadrant one, right? Like if I can answer it without taking too much from me. But if I give all my time and I stop what I'm doing, like, oh no, let me talk to mom and let me call dad and see what's going on. And
right. Customers
I'm
walking by
sales.
you. Yeah, exactly.
The teacher, I walked out of class and the teacher just gave, 8 questions from the test and I'm outside talking to my mom.
Yep.
So I guess it comes to that, like 1 or 3, depending on how you handle it, depending on how severe. So it's going to come right back into what we're talking about, balance and options.
Exactly. And in my head, it's a quadrant 3 immediately.
Yeah, I know. I already know
I'm
what
like,
she was thinking. I'm like
Mom,
trying to play, both sides and stuff.
Mother. Mother. I get it. Thank you.
I'm like,
I will call my father.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'll call dad. I'll shoot him a text.
Yeah. Hey dad. And all you gotta do is call him so he'll stop playing the music. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's the case, whatever. But yeah, just so you guys know, as we're brother and sister, and the same incident became 2 different answers depending on, because again, going back to self-awareness, it comes down to you. Right. It comes down to you. But that is a problem that was more significant to somebody different than yourself. That's what ends up classifying it, in my opinion, into quadrant 3 versus a quadrant 1. Crisis meaning, now when they told you couldn't sell WaVa at the anymore, that actually, at the markets anymore, that affected you, and it was something that you had to change immediately. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, well, there's no mom, there's no YN, there's no anybody. So that ends up being a quadrant 1 in my head. This is just me, depending on how it looked, what actually happened and stuff.
100%.
So, thank you all for going on that Raise 'em Up with me. Get Raised is the segment of Raise It Up Why, the podcast, where we always have individuals who are great in their respective fields. They are OGs, as the podcast likes to call them. My baby brother is an OG at this nutritional science stuff. Okay? And for those of you who are able to see us right now, this WaVa situational, yeah, it's a deep process. So I have a couple questions for my baby brother, and I almost turned this upside down and back up, and I'm like, no, because it might bubble and stuff like that. And when it bubble is trouble, getting big money on the double. I'm back. So question to Waren. How have you been balancing your time?
Okay.
During today's climate, I want you to take into account yourself personally, yourself as a student, as a boyfriend, as a son, and as an entrepreneur with his own business called WaVa. I want you to say, how have you been taking your time and balancing?
My time and balancing is, and with the focus on what's going on.
Yeah, like
in the last 2-3 weeks.
Just describe the changes, even from you being an entrepreneur. You being a student, you kind of already talked about. Right. Being an entrepreneur, making Waffle Life, making WaVa, and seeing how all these things have changed where you deal at the farmer's market. How has all of that gone on, and how have you been balancing your time as a result?
It has come down to me taking everything I already know about my products, how well I can sell it, about my customer base, and seeing the immediate change, which is basically you're no longer to sell the main way you've been selling for the past, going on a year for the business, but I've been doing the farmers markets for 5 years now. Right. So, and our main point of sale has always been face to face with the customers in a very, what I consider normal way of conducting my business. Yeah. So adjusting, like I've told a lot of people, I told this to Wendy too when we talked online. Yeah. That the main thing I think we're all gonna be dealing with, whether we notice it or not, is adapting and adjusting 100%. Yeah. We're going to be consistently adapting and adjusting our lifestyles to the new norm, I guess you can call this for now. Yeah. And I've been balancing it out by really just looking at, what can I do? Like looking at, you see I was extremely like upset and sad and thinking about, oh man, like, am I going to be able to keep this business running? And this has happened several times already in the 8 months that I've had the business. Like,
True.
oh shit, is this going to be the thing that, like, how could, like, my plans, I was in Quadrant 2 for over a year and a half with the business.
Yeah.
And I had so much set up for it. Now what? So the fact that I can always take that now what, and from my positivity, from my optimism, and also from Quadrant 2 work, I've been able to find ways to still make money. So luckily through delivery services, through Instagram, my family posting, my friends posting, everyone spreading the word. And it helps the fact that the products are something that we all do need. And I truly believe in that. That's something I truly believe in. It's not just because I make it, I'm trying to sell it. Like, you can even ask a lot of the people that I know. I like to give stuff away too, you know, if I can. So, it's something that we all really need. And that's how I've been making do. Just that Quadrant 2 work. And it's really paid off. And writing stuff down, man, like the write out stuff that Wyan talks about, it really does work. Like I write everything down, how I want to see my day, like who I want to contact and stuff like that. Because once you put it all in your plate, everything that has to be done, all your homework assignments, man, everything that needs to be done when running a business, buying the products, buying the glasses, buying the ingredients and everything like that, it gets really overwhelming. And you can place that in your own life and see how when you put everything and you think about it at once, it's like, it's just way too much.
Yeah.
So the best way to plan it is write everything down. You don't have to write times and stuff unless you want to, but just like, what do I want to do today? What needs to be tackled today?
Right.
Look at those big rocks and literally you'll start to see like, okay, if I just do these things today, I can look back at this day and say I had a successful day. Yeah. And that's what I've been doing prior to all this stuff. So the fact that I guess you can say it was a practice skill, I love that. It made it pretty easy to transition and adapt and adjust. But it's really been a blessing, man. It's really been a blessing that I've still been able to run the business, and God's just been blessing me, bringing all kinds of positivity my way. And it's just taking it one day at a time, man. You got to take it one day at a time. If you put too much on your plate, you're going to stress yourself out. Yep. It's more likely that you're not going to do the things you have set out for your day. Yeah. It's so funny. I'm watching, one of my favorite movies is it's called What About Bob? And it's with Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss. Yes. And I kid you not, it's a silly ass movie, but the 2 points is so freaking true that he talks about. So Richard Dreyfuss is the psychiatrist. Yeah. And Bill Murray is the crazy patient. So the psychiatrist writes a book called Baby Steps. Mm-hmm. And this book is what gets the crazy dude Bill Murray through all of his stuff that he's going through. Mm-hmm. And literally, if you take things one step at a time, dude, like that is the way to get yourself through anything. Yeah. It's one step at a time. You can't look at the whole enchilada and try to stuff it all in your mouth. You know, you got to take it one bite at a time. Yeah. And that's been my saving grace. And like I said, my family, my friends, I couldn't do it without them.
Absolutely.
You know.
And we keep saying WaVa and, you know, talking about the life and our farmers market. Yeah. How would you like to introduce WaVa before I even go to my next question? Mm-hmm. How would you like to introduce WaVa? Let these Raise It Up Y lovelies know what WaVa is.
Oh, right. So first of all, what the hell is WaVa? Like, WaVa, what does it mean? What does it stand for? So when I was coming up for the name for the business, I had all these different like probiotic type names, and that kind of put the product in a box. But it just made it to where I was like, man, no, I need it to be like something that really like that speaks to me. And WaVa is the first two letters of my first name and my last name. And it's been my autograph. It's been the way I signed my name since 16. So it's like, when I was thinking about things, I'm like, oh, WaVa. Like, oh, I'm like, oh, I've been messing with that weird thing for a while. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool because it's so universal. And then, so everything I'm doing is built around fermentation. Yeah. So fermentation is so important because the bacteria, the good bacteria that's in my products, it helps with overall optimal health. It helps you digest, it helps build your immune system, helps regulate hormonal function. And honestly, if I told you all the things that these products do, it would just take up too much time. Yeah. So the best way to represent fermented goods is they're adaptogenic. They're adaptogens. So what's an adaptogen? An adaptogen is any kind of plant material or any kind of food really, but usually they're based in herbs, plants, and spices that when you ingest them, they do multiple things for your body. They don't just do one thing like Western medicine. You take a drug, and it's supposed to be for a heart medicine or whatever. It only interacts with the heart, and what that does, it has all these side effects.
Yeah.
Plants don't give you side effects, so when you eat plants, and you have those adaptogenic benefits, it's benefiting your heart, your lungs, your blah blah blah, depending on the herb. So something like a turmeric has its anti-inflammatory properties, so it's going to reduce inflammation, but it can go into your body and do other things that a regular drug, over-the-counter drug, won't do. So fermentation, good bacteria, probiotics are so important because of that. And another thing is because a lot of the fruits and vegetables that we eat, and the animals that are eating the fruits and vegetables and the grains, they're usually, not usually, it just depends on where you're getting them from. They can be genetically modified. They can have, they can be sprayed down with pesticides. They can have all these different chemicals and things that they never had, like literally just like 90 years ago or 100 years ago.
Right.
So the industrial farming that we're seeing and that we're subjected to is fairly new, and it's why we're seeing some of the health issues that we're seeing. And just to make it real quick, Roundup, Monsanto, everyone knows about those companies. They're the ones that are doing the chemical spraying. They're the ones that even for home usage, like they still have commercials on Roundup. Like you could still go out and buy Roundup. But now they also have the commercials that say, oh, if you've been using Roundup and you have mesothelioma or something, blah, blah, blah. It's like, so they have those, like, you can get paid, you can, because it's giving people cancer and they know it. And the fact that they're still selling the product is it's nuts to me. But this product, what it's doing, it's killing the bacteria in the soil. What does that mean? If it's killing the bacteria in the soil, it's killing what used to give our plants, our fruits and vegetables, their chemotherapy compounds. See, our food and our food used to just be healings by itself. The chemicals like Roundup and the way we farm nowadays is literally killing that health benefit that we used to get from our food. So that's why it's so important to eat organic. That's why it's so important to shop at the farmer's market. That's why it's so important to know who's growing your food, because something as simple as something that you can't even see. The bacteria is being killed, and it is what's producing those healthy benefits in the food. So when you consume probiotics, you're consuming fermented cabbage or fermented tea, you're actually getting those compounds. You're getting those compounds that are lacking from our soil.
Love it.
So this is like where real medicine is, in fermented goods. So that's why I'm such a strong believer in it. And that's what I do. I love it. And it's what I go to school for. And I'm trying to take all the information I get from school and just put it right into the product, So I really believe it.
You hear that to everybody who think they got health care in a system that only deals with you when you sick.
Right.
But they call it health care. Mm-hmm. Yeah, click, click, pow, pow, just like that. Because I lay it best when I say it from my chest.
I know. Yeah, I know it gets all sciencey and stuff, but it just, because I don't feel like, I've been studying it long enough. So I don't say that. I don't tell my customers that I'm a professional. I don't tell them, you know what I mean?
Right.
I give them the knowledge of what I know. And then I'll even offer an article or, I offer the information. I never come off and say like, oh, I have all the right answers. Like if someone had something that was contrary to what I'm saying, I would hear it out. And I'm always willing to learn something new. You know what I mean? Because, of course,
open mind.
Yeah, you got to have that open mind. You know what I mean? And we're fed so much misinformation. Like we're taught to believe our doctors. We're taught to believe the media. Oh, coronavirus, there's nothing you can do, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But if you know some of the science behind what's really going on with our food and with nutrients, the truth is there. The truth is there. You just have to look for it. It's not readily available. You're not going to turn on channel 11 to find it. You have to do your research.
And you got immunization, because all of us, and what WaVa promotes in its fermentation process is, you have this immune system building property to it, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you look at what people are talking about so far as healing what is currently sick with the world, the word vaccine keeps coming up. But vaccination and immunization aren't the same thing. I can't take credit for that. Doc Thomas, my chiropractor, who's currently helping get my spine all the way right. We'll talk about that later. It's a different day for a different topic. But yeah, shouts out to Dr. Thomas of Integrated Health. This dude, is one of those individuals that just kind of, toss a few, they say the hint to the wise is sufficient. He got a lot of hints, and I'm wise as hell. So he'll just throw out a couple things where it's like, yeah, but is vaccination and immunization the same thing? Tick tock, I'll wait. So I love that my brother explained what WaVa is, and we talked about the idea that it's fermentation, but what does that actually look like, and what is that actually? What are the products that WaVa sells? What is in the WaVa-verse, if you will?
So I have sauerkraut, which is a very popular German type of fermentation. It's seen down here, or I gotta lift it up. I don't know if you can. All right.
Yay!
Yeah. So this is a spicy turmeric kraut. I got turmeric, cayenne pepper, and black pepper.
Yeah.
It's really, really good for you. It's delicious. It's one of my best sellers. And this one, I don't know. I think it has the best taste out of all of them, to be honest. I really, really...
More than garlic?
I don't... Oh, right. You do like your garlic.
Listen.
You do like your garlic.
My birthday is in 3 days. I already know what I'm getting.
So I got the kraut. I also have one that's carrots and jalapenos. So it's like a different type of veggie. You know what I mean? So that's the sauerkraut. It's fermented veggies.
Yeah.
And the tea is black tea fermentation, which is kombucha.
Yep.
And kombucha is really cool. What I learned is when you ferment with black tea or ferment with green tea, you actually get different properties.
Right.
So with the black tea, you're getting a boatload of antioxidants. So this one's really, really high in antioxidants. Then depending on the flavor that's in there, you're also getting those benefits. So this one has turmeric and ginger and black pepper. And all my products that have turmeric and ginger, I mix it with black pepper, because black pepper helps with the absorption of turmeric.
Yeah.
So when you have them together, that's what's kind of cool about nutrition. Like little things like that, you just don't know until you research it and you figure out. It's like, oh, if I have...
There are certain vitamins like
crazy.
magnesium or something that doesn't get absorbed without calcium, or it's something like that or whatever. I can't remember. Don't get me... Is that true?
No. I'm saying...
Oh,
I'm not sure if that's...
I don't know if it's that one. Look,
sure
now I feel like I'm getting excited because I do not like science, but when my brother talks about it, I get very excited.
But you were right. It's like you got to have something, and it helps with the absorption.
With the absorption of it, like one activates the other.
Exactly.
Outside of that, you just have really expensive pee.
Yeah, that's true. You will just pee it out. And that's another thing that this stuff helps with, absorption of other nutrients.
That part.
So food that you don't digest all the way, you have some kombucha, you have some sauerkraut. Yeah. Maybe it passes through your digestive system. Your body didn't break it down all the way. Kombucha and sauerkraut will actually help you make sure you extract all that.
Yep.
You get all the nutrients. So it's nutrient dense. That's what's also important when considering like calorie intake.
Right.
Like what kind of nutrients am I getting? Because I could eat something, I can eat a cookie, or I could eat, a fruit bowl, and same calories, different nutrients. So the nutrient density is huge.
Yes.
So this is Jun. This is green tea fermentation, and it's a green machine. It has a bunch of mixed greens and chlorella, really, really good for you. And
Chlorella Deville. Every single time I've been meaning to say that. Okay.
Then this guy is my bestseller.
Because he's my husband. Sorry, I literally kissed the
Now I can't sell it. Now it's YN, so I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm totally messing with you.
Oh my
I'm totally messing with you. This is called Tepache.
Woo!
Dope as hell. What's cool about it is it's fermented pineapple. So it's different from kombucha. There's no SCOBY or anything like that. It's actually pineapple pulp that's been fermented, and it's a Mexican style of fermentation. And it also is full of antimicrobials, antibiotic. It has all those really good benefits that the kombucha has, but it's just not tea-based. So if you're trying to stay away from caffeine, which we're not.
Not at all.
This is great for kids. Like if, you're a parent and you're trying to get your kids to drink some probiotics, this is a
parents
good
going to be
segment.
mad because parents is going to taste that and be like, kids, ain't none of this for you, actually, because this tastes so doggone good.
Right. But
not pictured here and not talked about yet is bone broth. Bone broth also has a bunch of health properties, very good for digestion, very healing.
Yeah, it's really, really good for your gut. It's going to help reseal the gut. It's full of amino acids. You know what I mean?
Protein things, right?
Yeah, protein. It's the building blocks of proteins. Yeah. So that's huge. That's really important to have because it's already broken down for you, so your body doesn't have to digest it. You know, that's a lot of what we're dealing with here. Immune boosting things that are easy for your body to digest. Your body just kind of absorbs these nutrients and absorbs all the health properties that comes with it. So it's just like it's like medicine. It's like a multivitamin. Yeah, it's something that you would want to have every day, like 4 ounces of booch, a tablespoon of sauerkraut a day. That's all you need. It's not. You know
I have like a third of the thing a day, but that might be a little too much. But the thing is, it tastes so good. Yeah. You know, if you try to take it from me, I'll stab you with my fork. Why did we just go through all of his WaVa properties and what each of his products do? I want him to explain the connection between balancing the body. If you notice a lot of what Waren talked about in what WaVa and the fermentation process and the Tepache and the Kombucha and the Jun and the sauerkraut and the bone broth, what they all do, the fact is, on this podcast, you guys hear me talk about the mind. I'm a trained therapist, therefore mental health is my vibe. You understand? Outside of that, you hear me talk about energy. I'm a songwriter, a singer, and all these different things. So when you hear me talk about the music, or when you hear me talk about even just life stuff that has to happen to do with music, you're going to be getting a lot of the energy that's behind it. Even when I stack my vocals, I stack them based on where the energy is and, you know, where the frequencies are in my voice. I had to ask Dave where the actual frequencies of my voice were so I could understand myself better, right? You guys hear all of this, but I think in the development of ourselves, one of the last things that we actually pay attention to is the physical part. We talk about the physical part when we're working out. We're talking about it usually when are we meditating? Are you doing yoga? You know, those are the times when I learn or I even hear about people considering their physical health. But once we start to talk about what you're putting in your body, that's completely a part of your physical makeup, and you are what you eat. Like, that's not figurative, that's literal. You know what I'm saying? So in that, I want to have Waren explain the connection between what he sees in the balancing act that is the body with the mind with energy, especially, and well, no, not only, you can do it in your personal life, and then where you see WaVa actually creating this balance through a physical nature with other people. How do you balance your mind, body, and energy?
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, I really like that question.
Yeah.
And now, how do I balance my mind, body, and energy on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
Or with...
Are you giving time to both, all three of those places, your mind, your body, and your energy? Do you think that on a daily basis, you're honoring each of those? You're honoring yourself via your body. You're honoring yourself via your mind and in your energy. And if so, what does it look like in your day?
For me, for the mind, I definitely prefer meditation. That's like my favorite form. Got it. But I don't always have that time to like sit and have that peace. Like nowadays, like I'm pretty sure I could find that time. Right. But I really was getting my mind right. I realized the top of this year, like 2020, it was like, man, I was just seeing nothing but stars. I was looking straight up everything. Right. Not that I'm not anymore. Right. It's the fact that I was utilizing my time better. I realized that I was scheduling my time in ways that I was like, oh man, like it was just really shooting me up. So when I was driving, like driving to school, driving to work, driving to market, I'm always listening to Abraham Hicks. That got energy work. That was my energy work. That got my mind right. And honestly, it got to the point where sometimes I wasn't even listening to it. Yeah. I just like listening to her voice and listening to her vocabulary, listening to how she chose her words and the meaning behind those words. That helped me get my mind right. Because now I'm talking to myself and others using that vocabulary, and it's nothing but positivity. Yeah. It's nothing but uplifting. It's nothing but speaking to the inner version of me or you, your inner being that wants nothing but love, light, happiness, health, wellness, wealth, abundance, honesty. Those things are what I'm trying to always speak to. So I got my mind right by listening to her, and whatever that is for you, if there's something that you could constantly listening to when you're, I don't know, when you're driving, when you're doing something that, you got a little free time or free ear space. Yeah. Give that a try. And I did it for, I guess you can say, the start of the semester. So when did my semester start? January 26th. Yeah. And I've been kind of on it hard for 2 months, but every day. Yeah. Like I want, like, I didn't have to go out of my way to do it. Like I was craving it. So that's what really got my mind right. My body, now typically I work out like 4 or 5 days a week. Yeah. But since I started the business back in July 2019, I haven't had that time being a full-time student, owning a business, you know what I mean? Right. So how do I get my body right? That's been more so my thing I've been trying to do. And I've been trying to do it with stretching. I've been trying to at least put in some yoga, put in some stretching, get a massage, something like that to get my body right. Because as long I understand that as long as I'm eating the right things, I can keep my body kind of where I want.
That was where I was going.
You know what I'm saying?
In my head, I was thinking of that.
And that's the balance, too. Like, if you don't have the time, and if you're trying to keep your body right, if you don't have the time to put in an hour workout, 30-minute work, whatever it is you want to do, there's certain things you're going to eat, and you could change your diet to do that work for you, to be honest. Right. You know what I mean? Literally. So and obviously, when it comes to nutrition, I have this stuff every day, something fermented. And I'll be honest, sometimes it's not something that I made. Right. I have other people at the market that make fermented goods. So I'll put their stuff in me because I know how much further that's pushing my health. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So I was just talking to Wayne a little bit about the nutrient density. If you could have something that's more nutrient dense, something with the same calories, 2 meals, but one is loaded with vitamin and minerals, and one's maybe loaded with, maybe the macros, like just some carbs and proteins. Right. Choose the one that has more vitamins and minerals because that's just it's gonna be more throughout the day. It's more valuable. You know what I mean? It holds more weight, I guess you would say.
Ooh, I like that.
You know what I mean? So trying to put all those together, it's, some days I don't do as well. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect, Absolutely. But I know that as long as I'm putting something like this in my body in one meal that preferably that I cooked at home. Those are my ways to kind of like keep my balance on my mind, body, and spirit. And, keeping, making sure that I'm eating right, something that I cooked just so I can know where it came from, know a little bit more about the nutrients from it. And that's
very
what I do.
Important that piece, knowing where your food comes from. You even said it when you're listening. I call it brain food. I listen to brain food every morning, and it can come from Steve Harvey one day, Abraham Hicks another day, Tony Robbins another day, Lisa Nichols from The Secret another day. Some days it comes from Jay-Z. Some days it comes from Pharrell. Some days it comes from Kevin Hart. I just look at people who are in positions of leadership and see Seinfeld with his whole comedians and cars getting coffee series. That entire series is gems. There's gems dropped. Even in the comedy and all that stuff, gems, hella gems that are dropped. Even just in how they behave and listening to how they think. That's thinking like a millionaire. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we just did our millionaire mindset meeting. We ain't even gonna, we gotta see it, whatever. Yeah. Another thing that I'm realizing, and it's going to be my third question to us, with this much time at home and this much time doing something completely not done in American history, to my knowledge, with being, quarantined as a country, as a world, really. So I don't know if it's just American history or just history. Technology has brought us so much closer together. When things were normal, quote unquote, I saw social media actually create so much distance between two people sitting next to each other. In today's climate of where social media brings us together, I know that Quadrant 2 and that Quadrant 4 can start looking real similar, especially if you start to delve into, you first was on there looking at, just a couple things in the timeline, catching up with some friends, because human interaction is important, and having that connection and contact with people, that shit is important. So it might have started as that. Then you go on your explore page. And then you go down this rabbit hole. And then, wait, when that, oh, he married her? Wait, she? Oh, who made that dress? And then 2 and 4 hours done escape from you. And you're sitting here like, how in the hell? Or if you turn into meme central, meme central, you know, I'm thinking of being in LA, Century Central. Yeah. But you start to go down this rabbit hole. Right before all of this happened, on my Twitter, I talked about some of my students. I can tell you when. It was January 21st. And I know it was January 21st because that's Rhapsody's birthday. Okay. And it was Rhapsody's birthday. And I went to the college and I said, hey, y'all should tell Rhapsody happy birthday. I think she would really like hearing that. Mm-hmm. And I had some of my students tell me, no. I says, now, you know, it's my homegirl, so of course I feel hella offended. And I'm like,
yeah, why would they say no?
Who are you? Mm. Like, who are you? They're like, I'm not going to go ahead and, tweet her or send her love because she's not going to follow me back. I said, interesting. So you don't tell someone happy birthday because they're not going to follow you back, or because they're not going to, or they might not even retweet me. Wow. When I look at the psychology, because behavior don't know how to lie, only words do. So your behaviors are telling me, as a trained therapist, your behaviors are telling me something more than even your words. Your inflection of how you say your words even tells me more than your words. There's a lot that tells me more than just your words, all right? What I don't think my students, and it wasn't just one student, it was like four or five students all carrying the same sentiments. What they don't realize is it was a sense of entitlement. And there's not only a sense of entitlement as this is the dark side of social media, by the way, not how it's been used now to make sure that we're all connected and things like that. But the dark side of social media, when, you start to determine your worth based on how many followers you have, based on people retweeting you, based on how many likes that you get, comments, interactions, engagements on your posts, things like that. So it reminded me for some reason of what I ended up telling my students. I says, Rhapsody is a Grammy Award nominated on her debut album, Bartender. I say bartender because she got bars and she tends to them hoes. You understand? Like, she's an amazing rapper, very accomplished, years in the game, worked hard to be recognized where she is and where she's at and all this different stuff. And you offer what? We're talking about follows. You're following someone. So they were offended that I would ask them to give her love on her birthday because they wanted and expected someone to follow them back. I say, well, for her to follow you, where are you leading? To where are you leading this grown woman, your 18-year-old self, this grown woman with accolades, stars, and bars, a beautiful heart and a beautiful mind, and here you're looking on some what have you done for me lately type energy. Wow. Why would that great, grand, beautiful, opened, energied woman follow your narrow mind? Or your narrow-ass minded pictures? Whatever you post, whatever you tweet. Yeah. They were like, what? I mean, it's not like, it wasn't like, I didn't, and mind you, Rhapsody doesn't know any of this. She's probably going to learn it when she looks at this right here. So love you, my sis. But this, I had to bang on you, and I had to ride for you, rather not on you. I had to ride for you to my own students, my own babies. But it reminded me of why I wanted to look at self-awareness this year, because I don't think that sometimes when my students, when anybody, I don't think sometimes when we look in the mirror, we actually see ourselves. And it reminded me of Jay-Z's lyrics talking about, I know that fame is the worst drug known to man. It's stronger than heroin when you can look in the mirror like there I am and still not see what you've become. I know I'm guilty of it too, but not like them. You lost one. In keeping the idea of this balance and options, Warren,
Yeah.
I want to know, what are your thoughts about social media?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about making sure that your presence on social media stays in the quadrant 2 and doesn't slip into the quadrant 4, stays in the connection, the planning, the something good, the edifying for the spirit, versus wasting time, comparing lives, doing things like that? How do you see that?
Yeah, it's very interesting because going through Instagram, going through social media, I don't know if you guys have ever felt this. Sometimes after going through it enough, you feel this inkling to want to post something. I don't know if anyone ever felt that. It's like, oh, maybe I should post something right now. Like, yeah, I should post. You know what I mean? Like, that's the one thing I definitely try to stay away from, just posting just because you feel like you have to, or just stay relevant, or anything like that. And if you know me on social media or any of my platforms, I don't post that much. I used to. If you go back and you will see, right before 2015, I would post several times a week. You know, I was pretty consistent, especially when I was doing the music and I was getting ready to release a project and stuff like that. I can say from that time, I was posting more so to get the likes, I can't say that I was really posting on my true inner self behalf, on the behalf of what Warren really wanted.
Got it.
I was chasing something. I wanted to be seen. I needed, I needed the likes. I needed that. You know what I mean? I needed that attention because I was just in a different place. But now, owning a business, like, you would think that, oh, like, I'll be posting every day, just like how I was. But I've really more so been focusing on just the people that I know that I have in my corner. And focusing on those things and focusing on my strengths. So I'm realizing that posting and marketing isn't one of my strengths. So, I just don't do it as much. But I try to do it in a space where it's like, I'm doing it because I want to.
Yeah.
I have a purpose. It is quadrant 2. I'm posting something to get ready for something that's happening in the future or something like that. I just try to keep it as positive as I can. You know what I mean? Because going through the social media, man, you immediately, I think it's kind of natural to feel sometimes like you just want to compare. You get that feeling of like, oh, like I'm not doing good enough, or I need to get more followers, or I need to do this, I need to do that. So I try to just find that balance. I try to make sure that, okay, if I'm gonna post something, what am I posting for? What's something positive that I can put in my post? Can I teach someone? Can I shout someone out? Can I help someone else? Can I, you know what I mean? So I just try to do it more, with more awareness, more deliberately.
Right.
And as someone I was talking to Robert G. He was telling me some information of just about how he has
good family friend, Robert G.
Yeah, good family friend. Yeah, and he just mentioned I didn't want to share because I didn't want other people to put their energy on it, and that's what I'm gonna leave it at. And I just think I told him, like, man, that's exactly what I've been going through, because there's been a lot of things that I could be posting on WaVa social media that are like really, really cool shit.
Right.
But I don't, because I'm still in the works on my side with the plan. It's still coming to fruition. It's like, it's like like a plant that you're growing. You know what I mean? Like you just want to make sure that it gets nurtured to where it has enough strength first. Yeah. Then you can blast it out and let people see and let people talk about it and do it. I don't need the naysayers, because they're there. Like, people are hating on you. Like, they're probably one of your friends. Like, half of them probably. You know what I mean? Like, and I see like some of my closest friends who I don't try to pay attention, but sometimes you'll see who's liking your shit, who's not liking your shit. You're like, oh, like that person, like, okay, he's never liking my shit, or she's never liking my shit. It's like, okay, like I see that, you know what I mean? But I do my best to make sure that if it's something that I care a lot about, even if it's good, right. Like WaVa just got their own kitchen. Like, that's happened. That's been for a while. So now I have my own kitchen, my own space, over 2,000 square feet. It was huge. Like, I have all these pictures on my phone that I was going to post up on my social media. I just haven't, but because there's a lot of other things that are still coming to light with that space. Yeah. And Wine already knows, we spoke into existence. I plan on having my own kombucha bar cafe. I plan on having my own spot. Like, I know it's going to happen, but I can't put all those things out there for people to see because I'm still creating it. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about social media as well. Like if there's something that you're working on, you don't always have to share everything with everyone. They may not deserve it. Maybe share it with the people you love. Yeah.
They may not deserve it.
Yeah, they may not. Right? They may not deserve it because that person you think you're sharing it with, who you think really has your back, is talking shit behind your back and like talking down on you. And I can honestly say that there's been a lot of times where I told certain people who in the back of my mind, like in my gut, I could feel kind of maybe hated on me or maybe didn't always give me the props that I felt like they should. Not because I deserved the props, but it's like I'd always go out of my way to like make sure they felt a certain way. Right. But certain people, when it was
correction,
good,
he does deserve the props, by the way. Sorry, my bad.
But when certain, like, I'm sharing something good with someone who I think is going to meet me with that same excitement, but it's not the same.
Right.
But I realized that I would keep sharing a lot of good news and a lot of possibilities with these people. And something in my heart and my mind would say, Warren, don't tell that person, or don't say it just yet. Ooh. And
that inner voice in those times where you meditate in those Abraham Hicks types of time, don't that inner voice start to get louder?
It
don't
does.
And my little brother is so modest and so sweet, and I love him to death. But I want you to know this: he promotes gut health with his fermented products. Mm-hmm. I need you to know that this gut healthy stuff, talking about the connection between mind, body, and spirit. This dude, making sure that your body responds well to what you put in it doesn't only get you ready for, being able to digest better and eliminate waste better and take in nutrients with better rates of absorption, things like that. How about it also makes sure that it's clearing clutter. This is the mental health side now. I get to speak on that, right? It's the mental health side of clearing out the clutter. It's the mental health side of knowing that your gut is your second brain.
Yeah.
Your research backs this up, does it not?
Yeah, it's 100% the second brain.
And I just told y'all, I don't do science like that. Right. I do what I do, which is mental health work and psychology and sociology, which is everything that social work is. A long story, I'm not going to get into it. The thing being, though, guys, when you start to enrich and help yourself, even on a physical level, you'll notice that not only is your body starting to eliminate physical waste from the things that you put in your body, if you're paying attention and start aligning that physical health with, let's just say, the mental health, mentally you'll start making better choices like, why am I even putting that bullshit in my system? Why am I putting that negative thing for my body in my system? Not just the working out, but wait, why am I working out 6 days a week for 2 hours? Is this defining me? Right. Is this outward appearance, is that defining my worth and who I am? If so, I need to just, wait. Is that what I'm really doing? At least you ask yourself questions. It's the beginning of the uprooting for change, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? And once those things, if those, let's just say the food led, then your mind followed, don't think the spirit ain't far behind. It's a freaking package deal, ladies and gentlemen. Right. So when your gut is telling you, hey, don't say nothing to that person, that's not a hint. Dr. Dre told me, you know what your problem is? Why? I said, what's that? He says, you wait for the evidence before you listen to your gut, before you listen to your inner voice. He said, once you heard it, look what he said. Once you heard it, this is Dr. Dre, the sound, the West Coast, but once you heard it in your gut, in your spirit, that's fact. That's law. That's fact for you. Why are you waiting for any other confirmation? That's God is talking to you. Yeah. Are you serious? It took, well, maybe, maybe we needed the Beats by Dre to hear that. Excuse us? Hello? Yeah. But I'm just saying that I didn't even know that. This is my first time even hearing him say these words. But just know the In Vogue song, Free Your Mind and the Rest Will Follow type of thing. Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Watch where you put that focus. You guys have been hearing me say it, and I won't stop saying it till it stops being real. Yeah. Watch where you put that focus. Watch what you meditate on, aka what you put your mind on consistently and constantly. You gotta watch, ladies and gentlemen. When you talk about self-awareness, when you look in that mirror, Do you only see your imperfections? When you look in that mirror, you can look in the mirror like, there I am, and still not see. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that my baby brother, with his WaVa Life invention, concoctions, all of these things, this is just another way to raise your shit up.
Right.
WaVa is a raise it up. All right? It's just not raise it up Y, it's raise it up Warren. Raise it up WaVa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that get raised was deep for me. I needed to hear all of what he just said, and I didn't even know half of what he just said, and we talk all the damn time. Yeah. So,
I love that you said that the second brain. Because that's probably one of the most important parts about fermented goods that I didn't even say. It did totally skip my mind, but
it's true.
It is so true. I truly do believe it is the second brain, and I'll just say because the same neurons that you have like in your brain and in your spinal cord is all lined inside of your digestive system. Like you have those neurons there. So what you eat is interacting with your nervous system, just like your brain, you know? So you are what you eat, 100%. It affects your mood. It affects your behavior, 100%.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And I'm not even one for bringing up this virus situation that's going on, but what I don't know, you fact check this on your own. I'm giving everybody homework. They said, one in every, let's say 10 Americans on average, I think there was like a 13% of black people in this country. 1 in every 10 Americans, this was on Revolt, if I'm not mistaken, Revolt's social media. Because they did a state of the emergency last night. Sort of a thing with Sean Puffy Combs, a few other individuals. Al Sharpton was included on that. A couple other people, some doctors and things like that. What I think I saw, if I remember correctly, was 1 in every 10 Americans are black. 1 in every 2 people getting this coronavirus or being afflicted by it, being unable to recover at the rates that other ethnically diverse counterparts are. 1 in every 2. I don't know if it was fatalities. I don't know if it was just that they're getting it and not recovering as quickly. I forgot what it was. 1 in every 2 is black. I want to make sure that we recognize this is not just a black podcast. This is for everybody podcast. But I always want to make sure that I honor the first individuals that encouraged me to create this podcast, which was black men. A lot of you guys know that. One of the reasons why hip hop is so pertinent to me because of my conducted and my own research and my thesis. I can tell you that no other population, no other demographic on earth is affected by hip hop culture and music like the black man. Period. That's a fact. You understand? So when I give information, I like to give it to everybody, but I always want to make sure that the black man hears this information for himself too, so that he knows that he is seen. Again, self-awareness, making sure that you're seen. Black men, I love you. Put the blunt down. Black men, I love you. Put the drink down. Young black men, put the mollies, put the perks, put the Percocets, put it down.
Please.
What I don't think you're realizing is these extra out, going from quadrant 2 to quadrant 4. I do think that marijuana, knowing that it's an herb, knowing that it comes from the earth, being able to, have your little, spliff. This is California, it's legal here. All right, cool. You have your little stuff, spliff. I'm old as hell, but anyway, have you have your little toke. You do what you do or whatever, and then you put it down. From sun up to sundown with no breaks for your body, even water in that much excess is bad for you. And we're fucking 80% water. So I don't know. Yeah. It just doesn't speak well to me in my implied, again, I'm no scientist, I don't know this, but I'm saying it doesn't bode well in my spirit animal to think about eating hella junk food. Eating hella fast food that we don't even know if it's real food. Eating hella whatever we eat. Again, you are what you eat. And if you're eating a lot of stuff that is waste, I don't know where the nutrients, I just don't know where the nutrients are. And your nutrients and your immune system are hella interrelated, I would assume.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Okay. So where the nutrients are is where your immune system gets to build and grow. you got to give it some blocks to build on. If you want to create this wall of defense for yourself, you got to give it some cement. You got to give it some bricks. And that's just really pertinent. And you are what you eat, ladies and gents. I just want to put that out there to you. And WaVa, Waren, all this, Aries gang. I'm just saying, these are all things that, we don't really approach our health and seeing ourselves from this real physical perspective. And that's why I wanted to create some balance in the content that I bring you all, not just from the appearance that you've heard me talk about with my sisters on the Summertime Fine episode 7, I think it was, or whatever, or even some of the other image stuff that I've told you about with me looking in a mirror, being able to see myself as beautiful, even when I couldn't fit certain pants or certain this or certain that. You understand? This is taking that idea to a whole nother space, all right? And in these times, that immune system boosting is pivotal, like big time, all right? So I wanted to start our decline out of this episode into YN's words of wisdom. Y'all already know I really appreciate all the love and feedback that you all give me from these words of wisdom. Today's, if you wanted a quotable, you can't chase two dogs running. Something I tell my counseling students, and I thought I would share it with y'all. I've often heard folks say, you can't serve two masters. Well, in that same likeness, I want to point out the fact that when securing the life you've designed for yourself, you've got to make sure that you put some key upfront decisions in order so that you know where to put your focus and time for your days, your weeks, your lives. So picture this for me. You have a Chihuahua, you have a Rottweiler, you let both of them loose in your backyard, and as the day progresses, you look to bring them back in the house. Only problem is they're having a fucking ball outside and they're not ready to come in. So you dash for the Roddy and thinking it's a game, he stops on a dime and runs right around you. And in that moment, you notice he was blocking the little Chihuahua behind him. And so you say, oh, I'll just go and get him. You lunge for the Chihuahua only to realize that he quickly spin moves, dances around your efforts as well. This scene goes on and on and on for quite some time until you realize that with the two of them and the one of you, securing both dogs, attempting to secure these two dogs at the same time is hella ineffective. At some point, we all got to realize that the different desires of our lives are the amounts of dogs that we have running around our backyards. There can be 2, 13, or 7. But so long as there's only one of us seeking to obtain all these goals, you have to decide which one dog you're going to go out and get first. So the question becomes, okay, why? So which dog do I get first? The Chihuahua or the Waddy? The Waddy? The little Waddy? No, the little Roddy. Roddy Rich. No, Roddy. Roddy. All right? I've been saying that in my head so I don't say Waddy, and I've been saying Roddy Rich. Why? Roddy like Roddy Rich, and I've been messing it up still. So don't worry about it. YN's imperfect, and she's also perfect at the same time. That's a personal question for you, and only you can really decide that for yourself. That's why we're focusing on a self-awareness all 2020. Having that 2020 vision on looking in the mirror and accurately seeing who we actually think is there. In the world of therapy, we call that congruence. It means that you walk it like you talk it. When people are on the outside who they think they are on the inside, that's living a congruent life. So deciding which dog to secure first in my life has looked one of two ways. Well, in two ways. It just depends on what it is. First way, if I have enough information about the various things that I'm looking to accomplish, I'll find what Wendy, my sister, calls the big domino, meaning I'll look for the goal that envelops pieces of all of the other goals or secures me the most while I'm obtaining those other goals. So for me, that was getting my degrees. I realized with so much education, I'd always have the options. And I define a boss as being able to have options. I would be able to have the options that if nothing else, I always have a way to make at least 6 figures a year. That was just something for me that I wanted. The second way that I decide which goals to pursue first in this life, just start. Pick any one, start anywhere, but just start. Every marathon that's ever been run, it started with one step. But before that step, it started with the decision to even run, to take the journey. Decide that you'll start and just go for it. No excuses. No, oh man, can y'all help me do fill in the blank? Or, oh man, I really would have I really would have been in that, and I would have pursued that if, this particular goal, was supported by such and such, and if y'all would have given me the chance, y'all would have just given me the startup money. Man, if you would have given me the space, if you would have given me, stop waiting to be discovered. Stop waiting to be signed. Little new artist, whoever you are. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for people to bring that situation to you. Stop waiting for people to bring to your situation that which you fail to bring to the table yourself, which is just the unwavering decision to start. Once they finally tire themselves out, you'll realize that, let's say the Rottweiler got a little slower than he started out as, and being so tired, you secure him lovingly and bring his butt in the house. Seeing his friend go and knowing that time outside ain't gonna be longer, your Chihuahua gives up his chase and allows you to scoop him up second, and you go inside the house with him as well. For me, making the decision to pursue my education first was that damn tired Rottweiler. It was heavier and longer in time pursuit, but now it's mine, debt-free, and no one can take that from me. I missed out on a lot of sessions. I missed out on a lot of money. I gave up a tour with Snoop. Yet, I got the degree, and later, I still got to work and get to work with Snoop and everyone else in this industry that I'd like to, and I did it my way. I call legends on the West Coast and the East Coast my friends. Exhibit, Ninth Wonder, DJ Premier, Dr. Dre, Rottweiler, DJ Pooh. Securing one dream does not stifle the progress of getting your goals accomplished. The indecision of trying fruitlessly to chase multiple dreams at the same time with no real focus, now that's gonna stifle your progress. And those are my words of wisdom for today. And before I go, wait. Eastsider. Come on. Can you
get a little?
No. Oh, I'm like, look, to the people all listening. Whoa, these things are fermented, so they're like soda. And we Eastsidered them, so they was gonna come out.
Boom, bam.
Lemon cayenne John. This is new.
I don't think you've had this one. This one's really, really good. It's like a.
Can I taste it?
It's like an Arnold Palmer. Yeah. It has a little cayenne pepper, and it's gonna be a little spicy. It's good.
You want to taste it?
Piquito spice.
Do it like this?
Piquito. Fuego.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, it's not. Should I do?
No, this one's cool. Anything with lemon or lime inhibits the bacteria, so it doesn't ferment. It doesn't do this as fast.
Yo.
But no, you're good on that
wildin'.
one. You're good on that one. That was cool.
Yo, get a cup. Yeah, so these Waffle Life, obviously, you guys had to have known the fact that we were going to be making sure that we secured the Waffle Life plug. WaVa, well, the company itself is called WaVa.
Yeah.
I keep saying Waffle Life because Waffle Life, here you go, Sue.
Yeah, like that's the website, that's the Instagram, everything's at Waffle Life.
At WaValife. That's Waffle Life on Instagram and a lot of the social media platforms. You have to secure that on Twitter. Make sure that you do it, because I was trying to add you on there and I was realizing, oh wait, you got to get
I'll
that.
just make the one, yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. And then if you want to go to the website, especially if you're LA based, and right now with the current climate, we're doing contactless deliveries. So make sure that you're doing that. Taste it. I want to know how
I
it
pull up
tastes.
to your house and I throw it from the car.
Through the window. And just make
and
sure.
you catch it. And it's
Bomb.
a commercial.
It
Tastes like tea, right?
No, I want some now.
Yeah, this one's more like an Arnold Palmer to me because it has the lemon and the meringue in me.
Ooh.
Is
It's
it?
going to make me happy?
I like that one when it's cold. A little bit of kick at the end from the.
Wait for it to be cold?
I like it when it's cold because it tastes.
Damn,
like
it does taste good though, guys.
Yeah, I like it when it's cold. But
So I dieted once and I did that lemonade that they make you drink. The lemon maple syrup and all that bull crap or whatever. I lost 10 pounds in 9 days. And by the 9th day I had to call off work because I was dizzy. And I was dizzy and ditzy for doing that shit. Don't do it. Just live a balanced life, kiddos.
Yeah.
You know, what comes fast goes faster. You understand? So don't look for the quick way to lose the weight or do whatever. You know, get your stuff balanced or whatever. So, Waffle Life, WaValife.com. WaValife.com also is where you can make sure that you're getting some of these contactless deliveries. Of course, if you're here in LA and things like that, and be checking my posts because I'm definitely always promoting him and everything as well. Also, you know, we stay sucker free all 2020. This is how I do me, do you. You understand? At ILOVETHEDOUX at I Love the Do. My cousin Maya Smith creates this wonderful merch, which is a boombox, sucker free, like I say, all 2020, you bitch you. All right? Make sure that you guys are into all this. I did my hair with this One Love conditioner at first, and it's a co-wash of ladies or gentlemen with beautiful curls on those days when you've already, washed it a couple of days ago and you don't want to go ahead and wash again and take out all of the wonderful natural oils and things like that in your scalp and hair. Just do a co-wash. You just need something that kind of rinses and gets real good your hair to make sure that it's, and this thing smells like fucking pomegranate or something crazy. It smells awesome. I really enjoy it. Long story short, ladies and gents. So, Waffle Life, number 1, thedo.com, THEDOUX.com. Make sure that you're visiting on there because my cousin is dropping some exclusive stuff, and I think it's gonna either come to the website only, or it's definitely coming there first. And if you go on there currently, there's a whole secret shop, and you have to get a password
oh wow
to shop in this particular part of the website. So
cool.
It's fly. It's a secret society. All we ask is trust. All we got is us. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Okay, so as well, my big sis has
you see it.
a blog, a website where she spreads positivity and love in her way. My big sis is like my faithful central, no pun to the church that's out here in LA. She's my center for my faith type stuff, and she has these sweatshirts and merch called Keep the Faith, #44. 44 is her favorite number. It's also the number president that Obama was, so she really likes it. And then it's the numerical equivalent to hope and faith. So if you all want to get more about my sister's product line and what she does to spread positivity, my brother alluded to the fact that he was on her platform earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what the thing she used. You know?
You know that thing.
Live,
Yeah, Be Live thing.
yeah,
But
okay.
no, you go to her website. I am Wendy with an I. IAMWENDIWITHANI.com. Woo, I did it without looking. Hey. So that same spelling, I'm not going to do it again. I am Wendy with an I on Instagram as well. And you'll get to my sister's product line. You'll also get updates about when she goes live and has these talks with, people and spreads positivity her way. She wants to make hope go viral. So she's the cutest thing in the world, obviously. But last but certainly never least, you look over that way. You understand? And for people who ain't looking, if you're just listening, my books, 13 and Write Out, my EP, the YN EP, all of these things available on waranvaughn.com, WYANNVAUGHN.com. All things YN related are at waranvaughn.com. If you want to get in contact with the podcast and interact with us, maybe submit a question for a Hi Y in the future, any of these things at Raise It Up Y, RAISEITUPWY on all platforms. Ladies and gents, this was a content-packed episode of Raise It Up Y, and I would not have had it any other way because everything we spoke about here is literally not just for your health and wellness on the same tip that we always talk about, but literally on some you are what you physically, not just spiritually eat. So we want to thank you all for spending time with us. I want to thank my brother for coming out and spending time with me.
Anytime.
And we love you all. And as always, my loves, please stay real.
Raise it up, why? Raise it up.